All right, the latest there, and to give us a little more insight on what this trial could mean politically for the former president and presumptive Republican nominee, we have our politics reporter, Ryan Chandler, who is joining us this morning.
Ryan, thanks for being here. So we know already that the Constitution says that even with a conviction, former President Trump can still run for president. If he wins, he can still serve as president. But how do you think this impacts the landscape of the election now?
That's right. The Constitution is purposefully vague about who can run for president. It does not bar President Trump from doing so. Interestingly, it does bar him from voting for himself. So that's one vote down for him. But really, the question is politically, is he still viable as a candidate? Largely, yes, among his voters. We know from some polling from an April Reuters poll that 13% of people who said they would vote for Trump already would not vote for him if it turned out that he was convicted. That rises to 25% of Trump supporters if for some reason he sees prison time. The traditional wisdom is that he will not go to prison. These are first-time offenses for nonviolent felonies, but that would affect their calculus. We know out of Republicans as a whole, including maybe lukewarm Trump maybe voters, 24% of them, almost 1 in 4, would not vote for him with a conviction. So this could have a significant impact on his support among even those who support him now.
And you talk about support. No surprise that Mr. Trump is a polarizing figure. We have people who strongly support him. We have those who are strongly against him. Curious how you think this latest decision might sway decided and undecided voters.
Well, so we know, especially here in Texas, people are paying attention to this. Our friends at the Texas Politics Project asked registered voters across our state what they've heard about the trial, and 61% said they've heard a lot about it. Now, if you ask them how that affects their politics, if the election were held today, these numbers are from April, Trump wins 45% of the vote, Biden wins 36%. RFK, this is kind of the X factor, he wins 8% of the vote. So the question we have to ask is if his conviction plays any role among independent voters who might go either way. If you take RFK out of the race, Trump bumps up to 48%, Biden to 40%. So this could definitely impact the margins, but frankly, that is where presidential elections are decided. Frankly, Texas is not an important state for this presidential election. You're really looking at the 6 or 7 swing states. And back in 2020, all of those swing states were decided by 3% or less. So while this conviction may only influence a select few amount of voters, that's all that matters, and that can make a difference.
You are our expert in state politics as well, and we do know that a lot of Texas politicians have already released statements in support of former President Trump. Give us the temperature there with them and a little bit about the voters as well.
All of Texas's statewide leaders are unanimously coming out against this in force. Governor Abbott called it a sham show, blaming the Biden administration for orchestrating this prosecution. We should note there's no evidence that the Department of Justice or Biden himself is behind this. This was spearheaded by the Manhattan District Attorney. But that is a common assertion that we see among Texas leaders. Dan Patrick called this a, quote, third world style justice system, comparing it to Russia and North Korea. Senator Cruz called it a sham trial. Attorney General Paxton called it a cowardly, spineless, political hacks who did this, and said America will never be the same after today. So if we're trying to turn down the temperature on our politics, this surely did not do it.
No,
they're
hot.
Turning up their eloquent language in describing what they believe is an injustice. All right, and as you pointed out, Texas is really not going to be a game changer in the presidential election when push comes to shove. I mean, it is largely a red state, so it's all those other swing states that make an impact. All right, Ryan Chandler, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks all.